Hey guys, so the wait is over. 4 months ago, I made my Facebook flipping video, and after that, I said that Gumtree was actually a way more profitable marketplace to flip on. So I will explain how to do that today in this video. So you might be wondering, why Gumtree? Well, Gumtree is, in my opinion, easier, quicker, and way more profitable. This is because of the difference in demographic between Gumtree and Facebook. Sellers on Gumtree in general are older and are more serious about selling their items. What this means is that this gives you more room for negotiation on the price that you actually want to buy it for. So for the few of you that have been subbed for a while, you'll know that a couple months ago I bought a Canon 70D bundle for £650 off a Gumtree seller, and recently I have sold that for £990, netting me around £191 of profit. Now, you would have known that if you had followed me on my Instagram, where I give live updates on how I make money and smaller strategies that don't actually deserve a video because they're just short things that you could do quickly to make some quick money. My Instagram is BZBroke, so I highly recommend you follow that, as I will be putting up some IGTV content in the future very soon. So watch out for that as well. If you DM me saying you're a sub, I'll follow back. I look forward to speaking to some of you. So to summarize that flip itself, I netted around £190 and I only spent 3.5 hours setting everything up, negotiating. And this 3.5 hours is also including actually going to meet the guy as well. So yeah, that would mean I made around £50 an hour. So I'm quite happy with that. No complaints there. Anyways, let's get into it. There are some preconditions that you'll need to take into consideration before actually committing to doing this though. One of the biggest limiting factors is geographical location. Personally, I did this in London, where the listing volume on Gumtree is extremely high. So I believe my strategy would only work best in major cities. So the cities that I believe will have the most potential is London, Manchester, Birmingham, and Leeds. I'm only basing that off of the UK population and which city has the most people in it, basically. Also, of course, the biggest precondition is that you need to have the initial investment. So I know not everyone would have £650 just lying around in the bank to actually buy the camera bundle that I personally bought, but you could start a lot smaller. For example, you could just start, I don't know, a £100 camera maybe, and then sell it for 150-ish. But of course, the less you invest initially, that means the smaller the payout will be. Now, before I show you how to flip stuff on Gumtree, can I ask that you like the video and give my channel a sub, because it really does help me out a lot, and I thank you for supporting this channel. Without further ado, let's get into it. For this, I'll switch to a screen recording of my screen as I talk you guys through this, just to show you guys how to do this step by step. I will also be including real conversations that I've had with sellers, so be sure to watch this video all the way through carefully. Number one, you want to set the location to your city. Don't set it to your address, don't set it to anywhere in particular, just put for example, I would put Greater London. Now, you want to search the item that you potentially want to flip. Personally, I recommend sticking to a specific niche. Start with being general and then start narrowing down to specific items. And also avoid items and niches where the price is extremely rigid. So for example, it's very hard to negotiate someone for a PS4 or iPhones or Samsungs, any phones and games consoles. Those prices are very rigid. So there's very little room for negotiation on those niches. Personally, I started with flipping cameras and camera lenses, as I just wanted a free camera to do YouTube with. So that's going to be the niche that I stick to. See how dedicated I am to creating good content for you guys. So yeah, subscribe. Now, this is where my tip to stay in a certain niche will really help you. Over time, as you start to look at more and more listings of that same niche, you'll start to have an idea of what the average price of each item will be. So you wouldn't actually have to check eBay for every single item that you want to sell. This will make your life a lot easier, as you can just like kind of quickly mentally filter through a bunch of crap listings. Here's a listing that I found earlier with some potential. Hey guys, sorry for the interruption. I just wanted to give you guys some thoughts that I have about this listing and explain why I think it has potential. So first of all, the pictures looks nice and clear, and there doesn't seem to be any like dramatic wear and tear. It just looks a bit dusty like over here. I don't know if it's the dust or the lighting, but we'll see. Based on like the equipment of the seller, I'm going to guess that he is probably like a professional photographer or something, which makes like negotiation a bit harder, but there'll definitely be room to come down on the price. So checking eBay now, the past sales on like the pre-owned version, it is around 1,400 to like 1,600, meaning there's already like a small profit margin already there. So ideally, I would probably try to negotiate down to somewhere around the 1,000 mark. So my initial offer for the seller would be around like 700-800ish, and then I'll probably ask him to meet me halfway. So normally what the case with these kind of sellers, like professional photographers, they'll either entertain your bullshit for a little while and then make the decision, or just tell you to fuck off straight away. So obviously the success rates with these kinds of listings isn't too high, but it's definitely worth a try. How I evaluate each listing is by looking at the previously sold listings of that item on eBay, and like using each listing to kind of gauge what the lowest price that is ever sold for, and what the average price that it's selling for, and what the highest price that it's ever sold for. For me, I expect myself to sell at the highest price that it's ever sold for, but I also make sure to take note of the lowest price, as that is the price that I will quote during negotiations with the seller. So after I conclude that a listing has potential, I would then proceed to contact the seller. On Gumtree, you can either reach out by email or phone, like text. I prefer to text, as generally the replies are quicker, but there are benefits to doing it through email as well. For example, in emails, I would always link the product that I'm actually talking about, just so that when they reply, it will be easy for me to track which product I was implying. Because sometimes with phone numbers and text messages, once you send the text and they respond, it's just like, oh crap, what listing are you again? Sorry. Yeah, and that makes it really awkward, because that puts you like mentally below the seller. So it'll be like an uphill struggle to get them to bring down the price a bit more. Now, here's where negotiations begin. I could go in depth on how to actually negotiate and bring the price down the most, but that would extend the video way too long, and I don't want to waste your guys' time. So I've kindly attached it below in the description below as a PDF that you can just all download. And that will go through step by step on how to negotiate, and will also include some screenshots that I used in the past. But the long and short of it is that you have to kind of profile the seller based on the listing. And then there's like different things you should do depending on the traits of the seller, etc. When you're happy with the price that you agreed on, just meet them in a public place. Normally I do cash on collection, but I have also like bank transferred them as well, like when we met face to face. Buy the item and then list it, sell it, make profit, easy. However, as I mentioned earlier, I always sell my items around like 20% at least above the average price. And I will show you guys how to do that in next week's video, only because if I showed you guys today, that topic really does deserve its own video. So definitely subscribe for that. But if you do want to give it a go in the meantime, drop me an Instagram DM, because I would be really, really interested in hearing about how your experience goes, and like if you make any money with it or not. My Instagram is BZBroke, right here. So yeah, last week I uploaded a podcast with some of my third year friends that are about to graduate or do a master's program. In it, we spoke about uni life, and they gave some advice and like shared their perspective as someone who's been through it all. I really do think that was super interesting. If you guys don't have the time to watch the full hour, I'd recommend you watch the highlights at least. The link to that will be like here. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I really do look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you so much for your attention. Like the video if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next week. Bye guys.